Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom.
And I'm Danny.
Danny's the taller of the two, so you can tell us apart. And our task this afternoon, and again tomorrow afternoon, is to do just a very brief recap, and I mean very brief, so those of you with prostates as old as Danny's and mine, 10 minutes max, we'll have you out of here. So we're going to sum up from a layman's point of view some of the philosophical underpinnings of what we've heard in the day's presentations. And
A problem that we have presenting philosophy is that the only way we could ever understand it was by finding a joke that illustrated a philosophical concept. So you'll have to bear with us with our explanations.
okay. For example, we heard a great deal today about the challenges of data analysis in biology, and as it happens, philosophers have had a great deal to say over the centuries about the uses and misuses of data and of induction in general, which is really what data analysis is all about. And one epistemological problem with data analysis, of course, is that the data set may be consistent with two very different hypotheses, in fact, often two conflicting hypotheses.
Allow us to illustrate. Moishe Pipik, what happened to you? You used to be a little shrimp of a fella. Now you're so tall. You used to wear these thick glasses. Now you don't have any glasses on. You used to have this big curly hair. Now you're bald. Moishe Pipik, what happened to you?
I'm not Moshe Pipik. I'm Bob Wilson.
So you changed your name, too? Actually, there's another philosophical concept that this speaks to. There's a very interesting guy over in Oxford right now, Derek Parfit. He's mostly a moral philosopher. And one of the ideas he's tossed into the ethical reasoning debate is that we aren't the same person we were 10 years ago because so much of us has changed. And he suggests certain thought experiments, like if you were to lay Tom and me on beds and to switch us one to the other molecule by molecule, at some point I would become more Tom than Dan. And then I'd become a different person. So in the Moishe Pipik story, the question of how much change can you make in a person and still say he's the same person arises. That's totally useless information, but I thought I'd show it.
Here's just another example of ways in which the same data set can support two opposing hypotheses.
So one day, years after Jesus had ascended to heaven, he was strolling around, and he saw this old man, and he said, "Hi, old-timer. How are you doing there?"
Good. How are you?
Tell me a little about yourself. What'd you do on Earth?
There's not much to tell, really. I was a carpenter.
Did you have any family?
Yeah, I had a son, but I lost him.
You had a son, but you lost him. Tell me about this son.
Well, he had a hole in each hand, and he had a hole in each foot.
Dad?
Pinocchio!
Same data. Here's another illustration of the way in which a data set can be interpreted to support two different hypotheses. Okay, I get to play doctor, which reminds me of another joke I'm not going to tell. Well, hello there, Tommy. How are you, Mr. Prescott? How are you doing today?
I'm good, doctor. How are you?
Yeah, what brings you to my office?
Well, I basically came in so that you could declare me dead.
But you're dead, but you're clearly alive. What makes you...
Believe me, I'm dead. I've had this argument ad nauseum with my psychiatrist. He keeps trying to talk me into the fact that I'm not dead, so I'm here to prove it to him. I want you to declare me.
Well, I can't do that. Listen, let's perform a simple experiment. I have with me, or I don't have with me. Well, it's okay. I should have with me a little lancet here, and I'm going to puncture you. Now, you do agree that dead men, thank you, I needed that. You do agree that dead men don't bleed, don't you?
Oh, no, I agree with that. Dead men don't bleed. Go ahead,
Okay, go right
and
ahead.
you'll see.
Ha ha! Look at that! You're bleeding.
I was wrong. Dead men do bleed.
Now, that's what we call science.
Okay. Another interesting philosophical challenge with the interpretation of data is an ethical challenge, and that is that, as we all know, it's possible for a researcher to stretch the data to support the conclusion that he wants to support. Nobody in this room, of course, has ever done that, but unfortunately, there are people out there that we hear about from time to time that have done that. So, an elderly woman walks into the men's day room at her nursing home.
Anybody who can guess what I have in my hand gets to have sex with me tonight.
An elephant?
Close enough.
Selective data. Another epistemological challenge in analyzing data, again, one which I'm sure no one here is guilty of, is the basis of selecting data on its availability. So a guy goes out to walk his dog one night. He sees his neighbor on his hands and knees under a street lamp. Hi, Tommy, what you doing out here tonight?
Oh, hi, Daddy. I'm looking for my keys.
Your car keys?
Yeah.
Where'd you lose them?
Over there.
Over there. Why are you looking over here?
The light's better here.
Okay, selective data.
Of course, the ultimate challenge of big data is that it can seduce us into a complex conclusion when a simpler conclusion is intuitively obvious. We draw the complex conclusion because we can, right? So a man goes to his doctor complaining of excruciating headaches. And after examining him thoroughly, doing a number of tests, a number of scans, he comes in to present his diagnosis to the patient.
I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Cathcart. I've kind of got good news and bad news for you. You see, we've discovered the cause of your excruciating headaches. It seems your testicles are pressing against the base of your spine, and that's causing the nerves up there to send this impulse. It causes the excruciating headache. The good news is that we have a cure for it. It's called surgical castration.
The man leaves the office going, oh my God, what am I going to do? Headaches, castration, headaches, castration. Finally, he decides that the headaches are so bad that he has to have the operation. After having the operation, he leaves the hospital and he's feeling terribly depressed, as you can well understand. So he decides to cheer himself up by buying a new suit of clothes. Yes.
Hello there, how are you? Welcome to mine shop.
Oh, you look a lot like my surgeon, actually.
Yeah, it's my brother. He was not a good student.
Well, I'm here actually to buy a suit.
Yeah, that'd be a 48 extra long. Sure, I'll get that for you.
That's quite impressive. How did you know I'm a 48 extra long?
Listen, buddy, when you've been in this business as long as I have, you get an eye for this kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, I'm very impressed.
Yeah,
I'm very
thank you,
impressed.
thank you. Well, I'm good at it. I'm good at it.
While I'm here, I should get a dress shirt to go with it.
Yeah, 17 and a half neck, that'd be a 36 sleeve.
Holy cow, that is good. That's
I've
exactly
been doing
my
this all
type.
my life. My brother was in medical school.
Well, while I'm here, maybe I should get a pair of briefs.
Yeah, that'd be a 38 brief.
There you're wrong. I wear a 34 brief.
No, buddy, you don't want to wear a 34 brief. If so, it'll press against your balls and give you one hell of a headache.
Okay.
Beware of complex solutions.